Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube NFL prediction segment, I'm going to be giving you my picks for the NFL 2014-15 season, Week 5. The first game, I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers at home over the Minnesota Vikings. Yeah, don't be too bewildered or shocked at that one. I think Green Bay is coming into form right now. Quarterback Aaron Rodgers told the team to relax, and they certainly did that. They dismantled Chicago last week. In Chicago, Aaron Rodgers threw 4 touchdown passes, 308 passing yards. Minnesota looked impressive last week over Atlanta. Atlanta's still, I don't think they're a slouch. I mean, at least they're a mediocre team, I would say, anyway. And Minnesota showed something. If Minnesota can get a ground game going against Green Bay, they'll have a chance, but I still like Green Bay in this game. Next game, I'm going to take the Carolina Panthers at home over the Chicago Bears. I think Carolina is due to have a good game. They are at home. Chicago, I think maybe we're kind of starting to see that they're going to plummet to earth a little bit early on the season. They looked like world beaters, maybe division champions in the NFC North. I think Carolina is going to redeem themselves. Carolina's 29th in rushing and 27th in rushing yards allowed. They seem to go hand in hand. So they're going to have to do a little better in this department. I think they will in this game. I think they'll get the pass rush going, generate some pressure, put on Jay Cutler of Chicago, and they'll emerge victorious. So Carolina in this one. Next game, Tennessee Titans. I'm going to take them at home over the Cleveland Browns. Everything statistically on paper does point to the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns, who were basically looked at as an afterthought or not much better than an expansion team in recent years, it seems to be vastly improved. I wouldn't be completely flabbergasted or shocked if they won this game, but Tennessee, I see them coming into this game with urgency. This team has been demoralized in recent games. They've been outscored 100-34 in the last 3. I think they're going to turn it around enough to win this game. I'm not saying that this will be a season turner, but they're going to be good enough to win on this day in Tennessee. So I'm picking the Titans. Next game, I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles at home over the St. Louis Rams. The Rams have only managed, really, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's 1 defensive sack this season for a team that was supposed to be very good and probably improved on the defensive end. I'm a little bit surprised. If they can't put pressure on quarterback Nick Foles of the Eagles, it's going to be a long day for the Rams and their defense especially. Philadelphia was dominated last week in the time of possession and rushing yards, but they still almost won the game. There's something about this team that just finds a way to either win or at least come very close to doing it. Seems like no matter what the circumstances or the statistical differential in the game. Philadelphia is at home. They are playing the Rams. I think they bounce back. They win this game at home. Next game, I'm going to take the New York Giants at home over the Atlanta Falcons. The New York Giants, they seem to be coming into their own right now. Eli Manning seems to be playing cohesively with the receivers. They seem to be blending now. They had a bunch of new receivers this season. I think it just took a little time, a few games for them to gel together. The Giants have looked very good the last 2 games. They've outscored their opposition 75 to 31 over the last 2 and look very impressive. Atlanta is one of those enigmatic teams. They look good some games, and other teams, other days they don't. Atlanta's got to go on the road. They couldn't win in Minnesota last week. I don't see them winning at the New York Giants, so I'm taking the G-Men at home. Next game, I'm going to take the New Orleans Saints at home over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay Buccaneers have salvaged just 1 interception this season. They're 31st in scoring defense at nearly 30 points a game per game allowed. New Orleans does not look as good as they had been in seasons past. It looks like the offense is struggling a little bit, but their offense, even if it seems depleted or there's something not right, is still good enough to conquer Tampa Bay and their important defense. So I'm taking the Saints at home. The next game, I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys at home over the Houston Texans. This game should be a dandy. It should be a very tight, competitive game. Both these teams, though, early on have looked impressive, have played very well. Dallas has the leading rusher in the NFL in DeMarco Murray. If they could get a ball control game and have some disperse the passing, running evenly, dominate time of possession, I see them winning it. Houston does have defensive end J.J. Watt, 15 tackles, 2 sacks, and 1 interception. He's earning his money right now, it seems like. Now, Houston may not be the world beaters they were seasons ago, but Houston, to me, is still a very good team. They've played very well this season. I wouldn't be surprised if they won, but Dallas, on virtue of the home field advantage, I'm going to take the Cowboys in this. Next game, I'm going to take the Detroit Lions at home over the Buffalo Bills. Detroit has won their last 2, 3-1 this season. They're 7th in passing yards per game. Buffalo is starting to reel. I think they're plummeting to earth. They've lost their last 2, have not managed to put many points up on the board in the last 2 games. They're benching E.J. Manuel. They're going to put another quarterback in, and we'll see how he does. This is on the road. Transition period, perhaps, in the quarterback situation, coupled with being on the road against the Lions, who will be ferocious, and I think their offense will be explosive in this game, and I predict they will beat Buffalo. Now, the next game, I'm going to take the Indianapolis Colts at home over the Baltimore Ravens. This should be a very highly contested battle, very competitive. Quarterback Andrew Luck is number 1 in passing yards in the league with 1,305. Look at Baltimore. Even though the defense is not as ravenous as it used to be, it's still the team collectively it seems like they're playing well on all sides of the ball. They're it's a very balanced team. They're playing better than a lot of people anticipated, and they still have a shot. I could see them winning the division. I did predict they would win it this season. It's probably going to come down to them or Cincinnati, but Indianapolis at home with Andrew Luck will be providential, will be more than just lucky. And Indy's starting to turn things around. I see them winning this game in a very tight battle. Now, the next game, I'm going to take the Pittsburgh Steelers on the road over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, the Jaguars are last in scoring defense, 38 points per game allowed. They've just been deplorable as far as their defense has gone. They lead the NFL in tackles with, I believe, like 309, which is actually good for them because they'll probably be doing a lot of tackling in this game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh comes off a very disheartening loss, losing it in the final seconds, and Pittsburgh obviously should not have lost to Tampa Bay last week, and I don't think they're going to repeat themselves against another lackluster team. Pittsburgh on the road takes this one. Next game, I'm going to take the Denver Broncos at home over the Arizona Cardinals. Now, Arizona has looked very formidable this year, and they're number 1 in total defense. This is a team that I believe to be reckoned with. They could very well challenge for the division title in the NFC West this season. Denver is number 10 in passing yards. They got Peyton Manning. This is a team that's 16-2 in their last 18 at home. Everything but invincible in the regular season home, I should say 16-2 in the last 18 regular season games. Now, I see this game being very tight. Denver, I see winning by maybe a touchdown in this one, but they get the victory. Now, next game, I'm going to take the San Francisco 49ers at home over the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, San Francisco dominated time of possession last week. They had an excellent running game. They played good smash-mouth football last week against the Eagles. But I'm going to take them at home. But Kansas City, I mean, somebody asked me, wondered if I had a vendetta or something against the Kansas City Chiefs. It's not that. I'm not quite sold on them because now they got to play another team like an upper echelon team with San Francisco after coming off a very emotional win. And they really, I mean, they just beat New England. I just don't know if they could do this 2 weeks in a row against very good teams. Now, Kansas City has linebacker Justin Houston, #1 in sacks at 5 per game, and they got to get to Kaepernick, and that's imperative. If they can't get to him, I see San Francisco winning this game, and I am picking the 49ers at home over the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, next game, I'm going to take the San Diego Chargers over the New York Jets. San Diego quarterback Philip Rivers is having a phenomenal season, one of the best, if not maybe playing the best at quarterback in the AFC right now. He's leading in passer rating in the NFL, 114.5 per game, virtually flawless football. And we have the Jets that are just really the one thing they got going for them, though. They are #1 in defensive sacks in the league, and they're going to have to utilize that to have any chance of winning this game. If the Jets can't beat Detroit or Chicago at home, I don't see them going into San Diego and winning that game on the road. So San Diego at home I'm taking. Next game, I'm going to take the New England Patriots at home over the Cincinnati Bengals. I know Cincinnati's playing lights out. New England looked abysmal last week. There's so many reasons to take the Bengals, but the thing about New England, they're a very resilient team. I don't know the exact stats, but in the Bill Belichick, Tom Brady era, I'm sure they have an astounding record after losing a game, and I think they will redeem themselves. I believe Cincy did defeat them last season in a very tight game, so retribution is going to be sought, and I think for the Patriots, they're going to seek it, and they will win this game, I believe. So Patriots, I'm taking them at home. Last but not least, I'm going to take the Seattle Seahawks on the road over the Washington Redskins. Seattle, despite their defense not being as stifling or suffocating as last season, it's still good enough to beat the Washington Redskins. The Redskins seem like they're in disarray. They got all kinds of problems with them. They have one thing going for them. They have the punter that's leading the league in as far as yards per punt, 53.0. So he might be doing a lot of punting in this game against Seattle, whose offense is somewhat unheralded, and Seattle has a very balanced offense. Even though Seattle's on the road, they're good enough to beat the Redskins. So anyway, people, let me give you my quick rundown on my computer screen, and as far as my games this week, so you can see the printed version of this, of my predictions. So hold on momentarily. Okay, here we go. First game, I got Green Bay over Minnesota, Carolina over Chicago, Tennessee over Cleveland, Philadelphia over St. Louis, Giants over Atlanta, New Orleans over Tampa Bay, Dallas over Houston, Detroit over Buffalo, Indianapolis over Baltimore, Pittsburgh over Jacksonville, Denver over Arizona, San Francisco over Kansas City, San Diego over the New York Jets, New England over Cincinnati, and Seattle over Washington. Well, people, that'll conclude this YouTube NFL prediction segment for my Week 5 NFL picks for the 2014-15 season. And stay tuned next time, where I'll be giving you my peerless picks for Week 6. Until next time, people, stay well.